this is pre-calculus test review. Let's focus in for you a little bit. All right, so here are my worked out solutions for the Chapter 2 test review. Okay? All right, solve by factoring. When I'm trying to factor, the first thing I always want to do is GCF, but there is no number that goes into all three terms evenly. This polynomial does have three terms, and its leading coefficient is not 1, so this is a hard AC problem. So I am going to multiply A times C. That would give me, I'm going to get a calculator. I probably could have done it in my head, but I was afraid I'd mess up. 15 times negative 8 gives me negative 120. So I need factors of negative 120. Since this is negative, we're going to say that, they add up to negative 2. Right? And since this term is negative, that's going to tell me that the two numbers have to have different signs. One's going to be positive, the other's going to be negative. How about 12 and 10? If 12 is negative, 10 is positive, they add to negative 2 and multiply to negative 120. All right, so first times first has to be 15x to the second. I'm going to do 5x times 3x to make 15x to the second. My outer times outer has to be one of the two magic numbers. So 5 times something over here in the other outer spot is going to be either negative 12 or 10. Well, negative 12 is not a multiple of 5, but 10 is. So 5 times something gives me positive 10. 5 times 2 gives me positive 10. That was your outer times outer. Inner times inner has to be the other magic number, so it has to be negative 12. So 3 times something gives me negative 12. 3 times negative 4 gives me negative 12. So inner times inner is negative 12. Last times last is negative 8. Now that I've got my factors, I'm going to set both factors equal to 0. And then solve both equations. Okay, so this has two solutions, 4/5 and negative 2/3. All right, for my absolute value, this is a quadratic, okay? I'm going to write two separate equations, one x squared minus 10x plus 20 equals 4, and then the other one, x squared minus 10x plus 20 equals negative 4. I'm going to solve both equations. I'm going to put them in standard form first. So the one on the left, I'm going to subtract 4. Okay. Let's see if I can factor this. I need factors of 16 whose sum is negative 10. So let's see, what can I factor? I can do 2 and 8. Negative 2 and negative 8, oops, you can't see that. Negative 2 and negative 8 multiply to positive 16 and add to negative 10. So this one's an easy AC. I don't even have to worry about inner times inner and outer times outer. I'm just using my magic numbers. Okay? And so here I've got x equals positive 2 and x equals h. That's two possible solutions. Make sure that you check for extraneous solutions. All right, on the other equation, I'm going to add 4. Okay? And so now I'm going to find factors of 24 whose sum is negative 10. Okay? So how about and negative 4, add to negative 10, and multiply to positive 24. So this is x minus 6 times x minus 4. Okay, again, this is easy AC, so you don't have to worry about outer times outer and inner times inner. So this is, the solutions are 6 and 4. Okay, so you're just going to plug those into the calculator to see if they work. Okay, so I've got the absolute value. Let's see, absolute value of 2 squared minus 10 times 2 plus 20 gives me 4. So that means that 2 is a solution. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to substitute 8 in. And I got 4. Okay, so that means that 8 is a solution. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. So you can see, I'm going to substitute 6 in. 6, 6, and I got 4, so 6 is a solution. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing, but substitute 4 in. All right, so I got 4, so 4 is a solution. Okay, so my 4 solutions are x equals 2, 4, 6, or 8. All right, problem number 3. First thing I want to do is get x's on opposite sides of the equal sign. So I'm going to subtract square root of x to put it on the other side. Then I want to square both sides. Okay. All right, so when I square the left, that's only one term. The square undoes the radical. When I square the right, that's 2 terms, so you have to use the binomial squared formula, okay? So a squared is 9. The 2 terms multiplied together and doubled, that's negative 3 times negative square root of x gives me positive 3 square root of x, times 2 gives me positive 6 square root of x. And then the last term squared, negative squared becomes a positive, and the square root of x squared just comes out of the radical. Now I want to leave this radical on the right and move everything else to the left. So I'm going to subtract 9 and subtract x. So 10 subtract 9 is 1. X subtract x cancels. All right, so now I'm going to square one more time. 1 squared is 1. These 2 things don't have a plus or minus in between, so they are not 2 terms. It's all 1 term. So I can just go ahead and square both things. So this is 36. Square root of x squared is x. And now I'm going to solve. 1 over 36 equals x. Okay? Let's check for extraneous solutions. Okay? I've got the square root of 1 over 36 plus 10, close parentheses, plus the square root of 1 over 36, okay, close parentheses. All right, does that equal negative 3? It does not, okay? So this is an extraneous solution. There's no solution. All right, problem 4. All right, so I've got to make sure that the top is equal to 0, but the bottom is not. So I'm going to factor the top. I need factors of 3, whose sum is negative 4. So 3 and 1. multiply to positive 3, add to negative 4. Oops, again, sorry, you couldn't see it, there it is. So x minus 3 times x minus 1 equals 0. So my possible solutions are 3 and 1. Why am I using x's? These are all y's. Y, 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 y. Okay. All right, but on the bottom, y cannot be positive 1 because you cannot have the denominator equal to 0. So that means this is not a solution. The only solution is y equals 3. All right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop that video and I'm going to do the second page on a separate video.